Chris, could you please introduce yourself and tell us the agency you work for?
My name is Christopher Bossley. I am the service chief at the Waco Blind Rehab Center. It's a blind rehab center that's part of the VA healthcare network. We're housed out of the Doris Miller VA in Waco, Texas. And we serve veterans from all over the state of Texas and surrounding states.
Excellent. Can you tell me a little bit about your consumers?
My consumers are veterans, veterans from all walks of life, really. We serve veterans that have a variety of eye diseases. Typically, they have multiple disabilities. The eligibility to come to the services at the VA, the blind rehab, they need to be legally blind or low vision, which we consider anything 20/70 and above.
Great. What would you say is their biggest need or area of concern?
Their biggest need, our population that we serve are typically older gentlemen, around 60, 65-ish. So their biggest need at that point in their life is independence, safety. We do serve veterans that are younger in age, and that their biggest need is preparing for either career, work, school, something of that nature.
Are all your veterans served in-house?
No. The VA system has been very good to veterans who are blind and visually impaired. And what I mean by that is there's 13 blind rehab centers across the country, and that is an inpatient program, so veterans come to us. They're there 4 to 6 weeks on average, and they go through a variety of different courses or classes within the blind rehab field. There's also an outpatient side of the VA, and that's where itinerant teachers go to the veterans' homes, place of work, college campus, and work with the veteran in that environment. So the VA has services for veterans both in-house and on the outpatient side.
As an orientation and mobility specialist new to the field who's seeking employment at a VA, what strengths might a comms job applicant need? Sure.
Good question. What we look for at the VA is really someone who has an application that I received. A strong application is one that has VA experience. And how does someone new get VA experience? It's either through an internship that carries a lot of weight. The VA is a unique animal in that it has its own terminology. Military type of terminology still exists with the veterans. Has its own record-keeping system. So an applicant who has that experience, has that understanding and that knowledge, those skill sets, is a strong applicant. The other one we look at is certification. Some of the applicants we receive aren't ACVREP certified, and we put a lot of emphasis onto that they be ACVREP certified. The other thing we look at is education. Did they have, what type of degree did they come from? Is it rehabilitation background? So we look at the degree, at their work experience, and certifications.
Thank you so much. What are the opportunities for growth and advancement within the VA?
Sure, growth and advancement in the VA, there are opportunities. I work at the Waco Central Texas Veterans Healthcare System, which includes Waco, Temple, Austin. But the VA is a national company. You're working for a company that has employees in all 50 states, including Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has a blind rehab center. So if you're willing to move, relocate, there are opportunities for you. You can go to our website, usajobs.gov, and just type in the search box blind, and you can see across the country all the different jobs that are available. I mentioned there's 13 blind rehab centers across the country, but there's also smaller types of services or in size, multiple ones across the country. They call them visor programs. It's a 1-week program where we're a 4 to 6 week program. So there's these visor programs that are across the country. There's also in the VA advanced low vision clinics. Here in the state of Texas, there's one in Dallas. They hire an orientation mobility person, but they usually only have one on staff. And then you can go further down to an intermediate low vision clinic. And that's a clinic that works with veterans on the outpatient side. So in the VA, you have different levels of care that hire orientation mobility specialists. And like I said, in all 50 states, really.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to add that I haven't asked you about that you'd like to share about the VA?
Well, a couple things, yes. I hope I can remember them. But the first thing I want to say, working for the VA, you mentioned the word consumer. Our consumers are veterans, and I want to emphasize that. You're working with a person who has served this country. They put their life on the line so we can enjoy all the freedoms we have. So it's someone who is a hero. It's someone who has served in World War II. It's someone who has served in Korea, Vietnam, in the current wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. So it's not just a consumer, I want to emphasize, that you're serving. You're serving our nation's heroes. And they're not all male. People assume if you see a couple at the VA that the male is a veteran. That's not the case. We also have the privilege to serve our female veterans. Blind rehab at the VA is a wonderful place to be and work. Why I say that? Because it's well supported. Congress supports the VA and their blind rehab programs very well. We have a variety of classes in which we teach, and we have a variety of devices to teach to the veterans. It's a great place to work to serve our nation's heroes. The second thing I wanted to mention was you asked about who we look for in applications. My advice to someone applying for a VA job would be pay real close attention to that application process. I probably can have 40 applications received, but only 10 I interview. What happened to those others? HR tosses them out because they don't have all the pieces that are implied. It's not just one form. My advice to someone applying for a VA job is to look at that job, and there is a checklist within that application. And if they have questions, to contact whoever the HR, human resource contact person is, and reach out to them repeatedly. And make sure you have all the pieces in place, because if one thing is out, they just toss it. I don't even get a chance to see it, no matter how wonderful the applicant is.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful information. I appreciate that.